Hi, it is Friday. Welcome to the vlog. I apologize for not updating you earlier, but I've been busy. Yeah, school has gotten me going so far this week, and I've been coming home very exhausted, so I haven't really filmed anything. I apologize. Today, I am just gonna kind of like focus on like catch up on what I've missed throughout the week, because I haven't really been able to do much this week. So I've been watching YouTube videos a little bit now. I've updated my journal. I've updated like my tracking things that I keep for my reading, because that needs to happen. I need to watch the new episode of Taskmaster. The new season started yesterday. I'm so excited, so I'm watching that later. And then also the new episode of What If. And then I'm hoping to also like be reading a lot today and over the weekend, but we'll see how much I get done. But I do have to say, I did finish Zainab Takes New York on Wednesday. I wanted to be done with it. I wasn't liking it. I give it 2 to 5 stars. It's about Zainab, who moves to New York to go to college to become an illustrator from Ghana. She's from Ghana. And it's about her kind of discovering who she is and like falling in love for the first time and just like doing shit in New York, while also having the voices of her ancestors in her head. Yeah, I didn't like it. 2 stars. Nothing happened in this book, as you saw by the synopsis. There was no plot to this book. It was very boring. I didn't like any of the characters. They're like very flat. Zainab was kind of immature and whiny, which I'm saying this as someone who's a year younger than Zainab is in this book. So yeah. If I'm saying she's immature, that's the thing. And I didn't like it. I thought it was boring. The ending wasn't great, like at all. This is pitched as a rom-com. The romance in this is terrible. It isn't funny at all. I think like the most interesting element in this book was the ancestors, but I feel like we never really went anywhere with that. So that was also disappointing. And yeah, I give it 2 to 5 stars. But that's all I've got for you right now. Hopefully I'll be able to talk to you more throughout the weekend, and a little bit too later. Bye. I was supposed to update you yesterday, but I completely forgot. So let's recap. On Friday, I read about 40 pages of The Sleepiness of Stars by Christopher Paolini, which brought me to the first quarter mark. So yay. And then I read the first half of Princes and Promises by Sanja Manon during the live reading sprints they did yesterday on Becca's channel. And I'm really liking this. I am halfway through, so 156 pages in. This is a Princess and a Frog retelling. It's the companion novel / sequel to of Curses and Kisses. But this one follows Katerina Laval, who is kind of like the queen bee of this boarding school that the series takes place in. But not last year, it's like a couple of months ago. It's a little bit ago. It happened in the first book. She got cheated on by a long-term boyfriend, and it kind of is like knocking her off like her pedestal a little bit, and she is determined to kind of be on top again and not let people see like weakness, I guess. And she does that by, there's this party, her ex-boyfriend is going with like a supermodel, so she like lies to her boyfriend, to her ex, and it's like, I also have a hot date, like don't worry about me. But she doesn't. So she gets the help of Raoul Chopra, who is kind of like this nerdy person. He has very bad social anxiety, so he's very like, he feels like an outsider to kind of like his friend group and his family, very much so. He's one of Grace's friends from the first book, and I loved him in the first book, so I was excited for this. And basically Trina gets Raoul to kind of like undergo like this makeover and to then become her like boyfriend through these social events, except like people can't know that it's him, so they invent like this alter ego called artsy, and through that Rule finds like a lot of confidence and stuff like that, and he starts to like neglect his friends and not be kind of the person he was, and create some conflict. We're in the middle of that conflict right now. There's also romance between the two, and I am really loving this so far. I really love Sandra Manon's books. I did a whole author's guide to her books, so definitely go check that out. I binged like a bunch of her novels last year, and yeah, now I'm reading this, really liking this. Like I said, Rule was one of my favorite characters in the first book, and I also quite like the setup we had for Katrina in that book, so I was really excited to get into this book, and I'm really loving them as characters. I really like the chemistry they have. I like the story of it. I think it just works well, and I'm excited to continue reading, although it will have to take me a little bit, because after I got halfway through this, I returned back to this, and I'm at about like 50 or so pages, which reached me to 269 in total out of this book, and I am still a bit conflicted on it. I have read a little bit more today. I'm on page 369, so that means I've read 100 pages already, and I'm just having trouble like being fully sucked into the story. I have more of a comprehension of what's going on. It's still hard to explain without spoilers, but basically we follow Kira Navarez, who is a biologist, and she is on a space mission with a bunch of other people to this planet to see if it's like, and like do tests on it, and then based on those tests they'll see if people can go live on that planet. And they're on the last day of this mission when she discovers this like cave, I think, where, and it very much seems at this cave there's like evidence of like alien life, and then shit happens, and like a couple of events happen. I'm not gonna go in detail in because spoilers, and also because it's complicated, but things happen, and we kind of are in this big space war between like the humans and these aliens, and there's a lot going on, and it's hard, like I said, it's hard to explain without spoiling anything, but I have a better grasp on what's going on than I did last week, but I still feel like detached from the story. I have a hard time, I don't know, like caring much, and that sounds bad, but yeah, just I don't feel for any of the characters. We are like spending more time on like the ship, so we're getting to know more characters besides just our main characters like properly, and I am liking the different dynamics in there. I think the plot is going in an interesting direction. I'm excited to see where it's headed. I think it is very interesting. I just feel very detached from it. That's my problem, and I'm not really like fully sucked in, and I'm almost halfway through, so you'd think I'd feel a bit more sucked in. But yeah, my goal for today is to get halfway through, which is 438 pages, and hopefully finish this. It's very hopeful because I know that through the week, so like Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm not gonna have a lot of time for physical reading. I just feel it in my bones, so I want to get this done and halfway through this, and then hopefully I'll be able to read like an ebook or two, and then we're done with the readathon, but we'll see. Hi, it is the evening. How are you doing? I am here with a reading update. First off, To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, I'm officially halfway through, which is 438 pages, which I highly doubt I'm gonna finish this book before the end of the month, but I still kind of want to applaud myself for reading as much of it as I have. My thoughts on this haven't really changed much since I last talked to you. I am not that much further into it, but I do think the plot is like starting to take a very interesting direction, so I'm excited to see where it's going to go next, even though I don't know when next I'm gonna have time for physical reading, but I'll think about it. And because I'm halfway through that book, I of course had to finish Of Princes and Promises by Sandra Manon, and I ended up giving this 4 out of 5 stars. I just think at the ending kind of like an antagonist was introduced in this book, and I just felt like that was a little bit over the top, and it felt very like cartoony and like, I don't know, not as well developed as I would want from a Sandra Manon novel, or even just like a novel in general, and it felt out of place with like the rest of the book. But I really liked Rudel and Katerina, even though I don't know. I always think I'm mispronouncing her name, although I don't know how else to pronounce it. But Paul and Katrina, I really liked their story, loved their romance. I thought they were very cute together. I loved the growth both of the characters went through in this novel. They had me swoon, and Rahul already like stole my heart in the first book, so I was excited to follow him more in this book, and he definitely didn't disappoint. I really loved her storyline, and I really felt for him. And then Katrina also, it was very interesting in the first book, and I was excited to see where they were going to go with her character, and was done in a great way. Again, she went through some amazing developments, and and her romance was so good. It let me swoon at several moments, and the way like it all came together in the end just like worked so well for me. And yeah, I read somewhere when I read the first book that the last book in the series was going to be about Jaya's sister. Jaya's the protagonist in the first book, but I can't find that information anymore, and the ending of this book seems to tease a different couple, which I personally am more interested in, because we didn't really get to see Jaya's sister at all in this book. So I'd be very disappointed if the third book is about her and not the person I want it to be. But information about that has yet to be revealed. Then I also in the middle of Velvet Was the Night by Sylvia Marina Garcia. There's a guy from Night Alley, and I'm currently like about 30% of my way through, but I'm planning on reading a little bit more tonight before going to sleep. And this book follows a woman who one day like gets stopped in the hallway by her neighbor, who is like, hey, I'm going away for the next couple of days and I need someone to watch my cat. So she ends up doing that, and then after this couple of days, her neighbor isn't like coming back, so she goes on a search to find this woman. In this search, she also meets this guy who's also searching for this woman at the same time. And yeah, we haven't really gotten to that point yet, but I read the synopsis. I haven't talked to you about this, even though I have been reading this like little bits over the past week, because it's very confusing in the beginning, and I had a hard time just like wrapping my head around everything that was happening, and I still feel like I'm not as engrossed in this book as I want to, but things are starting to make sense, especially its dual perspective between the woman and the guy, and I feel like the woman's perspective is much clearer to me, and I enjoy following her a little bit more. The guy's perspective is still like very confusing, and I still don't know what's going on most of the time, but at least I know enough that I can follow along, which is important. And yeah, I'll talk to you more about it soon when I've read more, and I'll leave it to you then. Bye. Hi, it is Friday, so it's October 1st. I've been reading W2 a couple of times throughout this week, and I just haven't been doing it. I've also been sick this entire week, so that's also no fun. But I did manage to finish 2 more books since I last talked to you, so let's quickly get those done with. My hair is just like not doing it today. The first book I finished was Velvet Was the Night by Sylvia Marina Garcia. I already talked to you about this book, and my opinions on it haven't changed much since I talked to you about it. I ended up giving it a 2 out of 5 star, I believe, because I just feel like at the beginning was like very confusing, and as I kept reading it did make a little bit more sense, but I never really felt that attachment to anything happening in the story. I feel like the characters were all very one-dimensional and flat, and like when it came to side characters, I had a very hard time like keeping people apart. I had no real like interest in the actual plot, because I don't know, it felt very surface level, like everything of it, and I just feel like we could have gone more in depth about things, like developed certain things better. The ending was very anticlimactic, but I do think there were some interesting ideas in here. I quite like the setting of it. But yeah, I will be checking out more Sylvia Marina Garcia in the future, because she has a couple of books that sound very interesting to me, but this one was just a bit of a miss for me. And then after that I rolled again, because I didn't have any galleys, like prompts for galleys left, so I ended up landing on lowest rated, and I just did that for like my galley TBR for the month, and that was Perfect Timing by Owen Nichols, which I give 2 out of 5 stars. This is a book that follows a guy who's in a band and a woman who's a stand-up comedian, and at the beginning of the book they meet, they have like a night of fun together, and she finds out at the end of it that he has a girlfriend, and she's completely appalled by the fact that he was like about to cheat. So they end up separating. It turns out he doesn't actually have a girlfriend, he just like invented that to his friends to seem like less embarrassing. And yeah, over the years their paths kind of keep connecting, but like the timing never seems right, as like his band is getting more popular and she is getting more popular in the stand-up world. And yeah, it's called perfect timing because the timing isn't always perfect. Like I said, like, I let it give this 3 to 5 stars because like the center of the story is the romance between these two people, but I never really like got it. I just like the moments we get between them are like very small things, like this, like they spend like a night together and they just like a couple of hours, and like we're supposed to believe that they are like so madly in love with each other that they keep thinking about each other for the next couple of years. And they do have some interactions of course in between it as well, but they're all so small and only like a couple of hours. And I'm like, you barely know each other, stop pretending like you love each other. And I feel like, I don't know, we could have spent more time just with them and seeing like chemistry, and I don't know, I just feel like that romance could have been a bit developed a bit better. But the premise of it is very interesting and definitely does kind of deliver on it, if you don't mind a lackluster romance, because I really liked seeing how they like grew throughout the years and like the different things they went through and how they kept coming together and like breaking apart again because of different things. And I really liked the message of just like, I don't know, not forcing yourself to be ready for someone, I guess, and just timing is important. And yeah, I quite like that. I also started The House with Chicken Legs by Sophie. I got 76 pages in. I was kind of hoping to get a bit further into this, but I mainly just wanted to start this so I could say that I started like every single book that was on my Bookoplathon TBR, or like that I rolled for, because I don't know, I'd feel a bit bad. But this one follows a girl who lives in a house with chicken legs, and she is kind of next in line to become like a person who helps the dead pass through, but she doesn't really like that part of her life because she's very like isolated from the rest of the world and she feels very lonely, so she wants to do something else. And yeah, it's a middle grade novel. I read another book by Sophie last year and I really enjoyed that, and so far I'm also quite liking this, so I'm excited to keep reading that, but I'll have to finish it in October. And yeah, that was it for Becca's Bookoplathon. I had so much fun this readathon and I hope you had as well. If you participated, definitely let me know how you did if you participated. And yeah, a full wrap-up of September is coming in a couple of days. It's coming on Sunday if everything goes correctly. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Good.
Here I am again, the same old situation. Why does the God thing have to be so complicated? Should've played it cool instead